Wait, what do we have? Oh, it's AIG. Okay, never mind.
Started with AIG. Pro-life means recognizing and upholding the value of all humans from fertilization to old age.
Okay, cool. Then you should be anti-Trump because he doesn't uphold the value of all humans.
They should also be anti-death penalty, which they're not.
As Kristi Noem stated in the newest episode of South Park, if it's brown, put it down!
Does that include dogs?
She kills at least 12 dogs in the episode.
Okay. Brown dogs?
Some of them. It was a different species every time.
Okay. But, yeah, no, that's the thing that was like, even if we consider a newly fertilized zygote to be a fully fledged human being with all the rights that come with being a fully fledged human being, it's still a matter of bodily autonomy. You cannot force someone to use their body to support another person. It's just, it's the, I forget what the cognitive bias is called, but it's like, it's that thing where if we take an action that has a slight risk, we see that as being more risky than not taking an action, even though inaction has a bigger risk. So like getting vaccinated. You get vaccinated, there's like a 0.01% chance that you'll have some nasty vaccine injury side effect thing because vaccines have that. That happens sometimes. There could be an allergic reaction. There could be, you could get Guillain-Barré syndrome, something like that. Mm-hmm. However, the chances of that happening are so much smaller than any of the negative side effects from the diseases that you get vaccinated against. But because getting the vaccine, it feels like I did this and then that caused the negative thing, as opposed to I just didn't get a vaccine and now I'm sick. Like there's a name for that bias. I forget what that is, but that is a cognitive bias.
Post hoc ergo proctor hoc.
No.
It's the fallacy that it is. Okay.
No. No, there's a name for it. It's not that one. That's a fallacy. This is an actual cognitive bias. It's not a logical fallacy per se. Chat suddenly gets really quiet. Like normally chat's on top of this when I can't think of something. They're just like yelling it at me and I'm missing it. But like chat hasn't said anything for like 3 minutes as I'm trying to figure out what this thing is called. But yeah, Fennec's like, give me a minute.
The cognitive bias would be illusory correlation.
No, that's not it either.
Causal fallacy bias? Clustering illusion? Narrative fallacy?
Well, now you're just throwing out too much at me. Okay. Fuck. Okay, who fucking cares? This isn't important.
You care and I care.
I do care, but it's not actually important. This is like when someone's telling a story and they get distracted about whether or not the thing they're saying happened on a Wednesday or a Thursday. Nobody fucking cares. It doesn't matter. Get on with the fucking story.
Okay.
So I'm just going to stop worrying about what it's technically called.
Say what it is again, real quick.
It's where inaction seems better even though the risks are higher.
Where inaction seems better even though the risks... Oh, status quo bias. That's literally preferring things to stay the same rather than changing, even if the change could be beneficial.
No. That's not fucking it. Fennec says pseudo-certainty effect. I've never heard those words, but they talk about it on Skeptic's Guide to the Universe all the goddamn time. And there's a name for it that they use that none of you have said yet. So if I just know the wrong name for it, I blame Steve Novella. It's his fault. The tendency to make risk-averse choices if the expected outcome is good, but risk-seeking choices if it is bad. That's close. I don't think that's quite it, but that's a lot closer than anything Suris has said, because Suris is fucking useless.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
But anyway, it's that thing where, like, abortion is taking an action to assert your bodily autonomy, as opposed to being like, no, you can't do this thing to me because doing that thing to me would violate my bodily autonomy. It is, I am taking an action to assert my bodily autonomy. So because of that, it seems like it's different, even though it's not. So like the same as like getting a vaccine. Yes, getting a vaccine is taking an action that could potentially have the negative consequences from a vaccine-induced side effect. But not getting the vaccine carries a greater risk with it, even though like it seems like doing the action takes on more risk. It's almost as if not doing things, even if it makes things better, is the root of conservative ideology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm starting to think that Steve Novella is just using the wrong words because everybody is saying different things, and I'm not seeing it. Anyway, that's my point with this one, is that they don't actually, like, They see some lives as more valuable than others. They're not equally valuable. Otherwise, they would want to protect the mothers and the pregnant people in the situations where pregnancy happens. Okay. And then Based Bandita. Okay, I actually have the video for this one because it's another one of those stupid AI videos, so they can't fucking copyright it.
Oh, god damn it.
So I say, I wasn't even alive in 1985, and this video made me cry. Was it really this great? So I'm going to preemptively tell you that no, it was not really this great. And this great, like, when you see the video, it's not actually great. Anyway, let's watch the video.
You made it back. How's 2025? I heard no one talks face to face anymore, and everything's lived through something called social media.
No? Well, I mean, certainly there are terminally online people, but like...
I mean, that is most people, though. Like, actually, so, technically speaking, that is not an untrue statement because we have seen the phenomenon of atomization. It's not just because of social media, it's also because of, like, suburban development projects, but that's not an entirely inaccurate statement.
No, but also on the flip side of that, social media has allowed me to meet people that I never would have had access to in the 1980s. Mm-hmm. Social media has allowed atheists in places like fucking Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida, whatever. It's allowed them to meet each other and feel like they're not alone. So
what you are saying is technically true.
Yeah, no, there are pros and cons, but
so again, the problem is not social media existing. The problem is social media that algorithmically rewards fighting. Yeah. The problem is not social media existing. The problem is social media existing in such a way that it enriches shareholders. Because
okay, the video's a lot longer, so we got to let it.
Okay, a little bit fair enough. Fair enough.
I heard people don't even know their neighbors anymore. They don't knock on doors. They just talk through something called Instagram.
Okay. So let's see. There's Shane lives over there. Marco lives over there. Shane's got kids that are the same age as my kids, and my kids get mad when Shane's kids are away for, like, with their grandparents for a week. Like, I haven't seen them in months. Like, relax, kid. It's been a couple days. But, like, they get so upset when they can't go play with them.
Kinma says, yeah, people got less annoying. I did prefer knowing neighbors, though my situation's a little different.
Well, so here's the thing. I'm on both sides of that equation. Remember my last neighbor? I wish I didn't know him.
Yeah. I know my neighbors, but that's because my neighbors are my parents and are my mom and stepdad, and then my step-grandparents, respectively, because...
I do not want to have family as neighbors.
They bought the plots of lands 2 acres left and 2 acres right of me.
I mean, I say that, but, like, one of our plans for our kids not being able to afford housing is, like, if we buy a big enough plot of land just with a house on it, we can, like, you know, you can, like, if you can somehow afford to build a house, you can have this section of the land that we already bought for free. Mm-hmm. And, like, we haven't nailed out all the details yet because none of our kids are anywhere close to that scenario. But, like, we are actively making plans for our kids are not going to be able to afford housing, and we don't want to sacrifice our privacy for the rest of our lives because of that. It's like we're trying to figure out something with that. And I recognize that is a privileged position. Not everybody, like, I bought a house before the housing market exploded to what it is now. And that has allowed me to buy another house and potentially, like, maybe in the future, like, again, like I said, this is not happening anytime soon. Need to be able to save up some of that money that we're spending on nannies first. But like, I recognize that is a sort of privilege. Like, the fact that I own a house is not something that is a given and will not be a given for a very long time again. Mm-hmm. But yeah, on with the video.
I heard in the future, no one even goes outside anymore. Everyone just stares at screens all day.
No, we go outside and stare at screens outside.
Not untrue. Not untrue.
Yeah, I know. Like, people still go outside.
Not to the degree. So... this is an area where I think we are gonna have, like, a fundamental disagreement. Not in the sense of, like, aha, my ideology says Vice Rhino is wrong, but in the sense of, like, I feel like, and I know it's AI, it's bullshit. Looking into it is dumb, but I feel like the point of statements like "and nobody goes outside anymore" is not to say there are zero people out there. That's not the point of those statements. The point of those statements are we are atomized as individuals. We, generally speaking, like as a society, don't know our neighbors as much.
So as a parent, I never knew my neighbors when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could tell you on one side of me was Mr. and Mrs. Fortin. I don't know how I know their names, but I never talked to them. I never saw them. I didn't know who they were. There was a kid that lived next door to us that I never played with. Didn't know who she was. Didn't know her name.
Whereas for me, I knew.
So like, and this video is supposed to be about 1985. I was born in 86, so like I'm talking about the 90s here.
Yeah.
But like, not knowing your neighbors is not a new experience.
It's not a new experience. My experience was knowing my neighbors. I knew that the neighbors' kids to my right were Tanya and Stasha. I knew the neighbors' kids to my left was Miguel. The ones behind me was Trey, and several of them were friends of mine. There were altercations that changed that as people grew up, but that happens. So I understand that it's not a new phenomenon, but by the numbers, actual statistics, we do know fewer of our neighbors as a populace than we used to.
Okay, but like, I don't know, maybe this is different for me as a parent because like when I take my kids to the park, there's a bunch of other kids at the park and my kids will just play with the other kids. And I don't feel like that is a unique experience. I think all of the parents that I know take their kids to the park or let their kids go to the park or tell them, hey, we're done with screens for now, go to the park.
Right.
So like, yeah, there is a fundamental difference. Like, when I was a kid, if I was grounded, I would be forced to stay inside. Whereas like my kids, I ground them from screens and tell them to go play at the park. So like there is a difference there. I'm not saying it's the same, but like
so
people still go outside. People still play, like the kids still play with each other.
So the question becomes, is the point of the video supposed to be people do not do this as a binary? Because the answer to that is obviously, yeah, people go outside. It's I can go outside and see people right now. Well, maybe not right now and not in the middle of the woods. And if I see them in the middle of the woods, maybe I'd rather a bear. But
so the point of the video is I wasn't even alive in 1985 and this video made me cry. Was it really this great?
Okay, and you know what? She's not a base bandita. She's a moron for crying over an AI video. That's
yeah, but also it's like no, the 80s were not that great.
No, the 80s as a whole was not that great. But it is a time that people look back fondly on.
It's
same as any other time.
It's nostalgia glasses. Like I look back fondly on the 90s, but then if I actually sit down and think about it, it's like no, the 90s were actually kind of shit. That's when we called people gay as a slur, as an insult. Like, oh, you're so gay.
There is still one person at my card shop that does that. It's weird.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know, the thing with how societies operated in the past. We do have a study for this, there's a lot of different ways to study this. One of them is decadology. For the 80s specifically, there's a lot of shit that should not be glorified there, but there is one. There is one.
Hey, the 80s began the process of us finding out that trickle-down economics don't work. And despite the fact that we found that out very thoroughly, we still try to use trickle-down economics.
Conservatism at its best.
The Satanic Panic was the 80s.
So...
oh no, kids are playing a board game with each other.
Yeah, again, I'm not going to say that age is good. There's a bunch of shitty things with that age. But maybe instead of looking at it from the past forward, I can look at it from the future backward and point out one of my problems. So like, on the one hand, if I encounter a problem and I need a solution to that problem, I can open up my phone and I can find a solution relatively quickly. Now, granted, some of that is because I know how to use a search box in a way that actually benefits me and finds accurate information, as opposed to somebody, going on to fucking ChatGPT and then getting AI-induced psychosis, which we looked at earlier today.
So this is actually reminding me of my finding electricians, because one of the things I Google, I guess it's a new thing they've introduced, where you can message them through Google. Mm-hmm. And so I did that with like 4 or 5 electricians in my area. One of them responded with, "Here's my phone number, call me." And I'm like, okay, No, the reason I messaged you is because I don't want to call you. I'm a millennial, man. No, we don't make phone calls.
So from my perspective, when I see something like this, I'm seeing somebody who is very, very frustrated with how the world is right now. And if, based on the information in the video so far, the aspect of society that they are not happy with right now is how we socialize. Because most of our socialization online is fighting. Because algorithms literally benefit. Like, there's financial incentive in that.
Yeah. But, okay, statistically, though, most people don't spend as much time on social media as you and I do. I think you're letting your own personal experience color this a little bit too much, because, like, statistically speaking, most people do not get sucked into it. Like, I mean, so I'm not sucked into it in the sense that, like, I need the likes and stuff like that. Like, mostly, it used to be kind of like that for me. But recently, it's almost been more of an obligation. Like, I've told this story before. A tweet started as an excuse for me to, like, I would get distracted while trying to work by going to Twitter.
So you need to turn it into work.
And so I turned that into work. Like, oh, I got distracted on Twitter, so now I can take screenshots of the stupid tweets and I can make a show about it. And now it's productive. Like, my distraction is now productivity.
So
that's how it started. But now it's like I could just not go back on any social media ever, and I would be a happy man. And I feel like most people are somewhere in between those two extremes, where, like, they go on Facebook or whatever, and they might get some of the news from Facebook, which is objectively a bad place to get news from. But, like, they don't spend their entire day on it. They're not like Cat Turd spending 15 hours a day just reading Twitter and posting on Twitter.
Void Puppy, thank you for redeeming your points for an wow. So, okay, question. Just for the United States, what percentage of social media users would need to be, like, addicted, like classically addicted to social media for that to be concerning?
I don't know. You're asking me for specific numbers, man. You should know better than that. I got to research before I can give you a specific number.
I understand. It's a loaded question, especially because, like, I have the numbers in front of me, and therefore it's entirely unfair. But, like, in the United States, in terms of addiction rate, like actual addiction rate, we have a 10% addiction rate. Were that any other drug of any kind, that would be absolutely abysmal. That would be something that is panic-worthy.
So yes, that is very concerning. But that still means that 90% of people are not only online, only on social media. They're still in the real world to a degree.
Mm-hmm. To a degree.
Yeah.
I don't have numbers on that one.
That's my point.
I can't argue on that one because I actually don't have those numbers.
But that's my point, is that these people are, like, making it sound like it's an all or nothing thing, where, like, oh, everybody's on social media all the time. It's like, yes, social media is problematic. There are issues with social media. I am not denying that. But I don't think it's as widespread as it seems to people who are as online as you and I are.
Okay, so that's...
Like, to us, it seems like that is the entire world. But to most people, it's a thing they check once or twice a day.
No, and that's entirely fair. So I guess I guess the other thing would be, would we look at social media alone? Because one of the problems I would have with the video is that the video is saying that it's social media alone. They all just talk through Instagram, but that's not the case. Would we look at social media alone, or would we look at a variety of factors that would cause people to atomize? Because I would think we would look at a variety of factors that would cause people to atomize. And social media is one of them. Suburban development is another one of them. The Suburban project has quite literally atomized people by design. It makes people not have third places in general.
According, Dr. Blue says, according to YouTube, last time I checked, I watch an average of 25 to 26 hours of YouTube every day. I wouldn't be surprised if my numbers are similar.
What, 25 hours a day?
Well, yeah, if you watch on 2 times speed, that's only 12 hours.
Okay.
You're about 12 and a half. Because YouTube is funny with it. Like, they don't track it as
they track it like a video game does. We're not going to track the hours where you died and came back.
That's actually, I have an issue with that with Timberborn, the beaver game that I play. Mm-hmm. Is that I look at the amount of hours that I've played and I go, oh my god, I must be addicted. But then I remember that, like, oh, oftentimes I get to the point where, like, I've automated the entire colony and I'm just waiting for them to collect enough resources to build the next thing. And so I will leave it running in the background for the weekend. Like there have been times when I've like alt tabbed out of the game and then forgotten that the game is running, and I've left it running for like a week and then come back to it. Oh yeah. So like the number of hours that Steam tells me I've played it is not the actual number of hours I spent in the game. So like I look at that and go, oh my God, I need to uninstall this now. No, wait a minute. Don't actually.
Forrest Wren says, guess what's also problematic? Going outside without the ability to contact people in case of emergency, geographically limiting your access to information. True. Again, this is the point where we go, is the problem the phone and the social media? Well, no, the problem is social media in its current form. The problem is phones designed as an addictive device, not phones as a thing that you have access to. This is why there's apps that are really useful for people where they kill all of the like dopamine stuff that the phone can do. Like they'll drain the colors from it. They'll turn it to where it looks almost like MS-DOS.
Yeah, no, I see those phones that are like a throwback to before the smartphone, and I'm like, I could totally see the utility of that. I am tempted by that.
Well, there's apps you can use that actually like make your phone do that.
Yeah, but the problem is you can disable those, and it's way too easy to disable those. Where if you just have a phone that is not capable of doing the addictive stuff, then it's not even a temptation. Because I used to do that before. Like I used to have there's an add-on for, I want to say it was Chrome because I was probably using Chrome back then, but there's an add-on called Pause where if you like you can there's a list of default websites that it has it's mostly social media stuff. But like you can add other websites into there that you want, that like you go there and it makes you stare at a green screen for like 10 seconds before it will actually take you to the website. So like that stops the like, yeah, because like that's what happened to me is like I would open a new tab and just my fingers would muscle memory start typing Twitter. And then I would, oops, I just wasted 10 minutes on Twitter when I actually just meant to go to YouTube to upload a video. And so Pause, what that did is like, yeah, I'd type Twitter and I'd go there and it's like, oh, green screen. Did I actually want to go to Twitter? No, I was going to somewhere else. Yeah. So it like gives you that little, just enough of a break in between typing the thing and loading the website that it's like, oh, that's not actually what I wanted to do right now. But YouTube is one of the default sites that it pauses. And so I had to have a way around that because like that's my job. If I'm going to YouTube, like, yeah, I do accidentally waste a lot of time on YouTube, but I also have legitimate business stuff that I need to do on YouTube. And so it became a thing of like, yes, I want it to pause me, but on the other hand, I need to have a workaround to get around it, and it has to be fairly easy to do. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, well, now I have a workaround.
And now that you have a workaround, your brain is going to go, ooh, workaround. I'm going to do that real quick. And now it's...
So it's the same thing. I don't have... Like, I use Blue Sky. That's the social media site that I actually use. I do not have the Blue Sky app installed on my phone, but I have a browser installed on my phone that when I open the browser, it's already got the Blue Sky website loaded. So like, yeah, no, I uninstalled Blue Sky because I spend too much time on it. But if I click on this other app, it just takes me to Blue Sky.
That's what happened with me with Twitter. So like I had Twitter uninstalled from my phone for a while. And same with Facebook. I had them uninstalled. And then what happened is I ended up going to YouTube and just going through YouTube Shorts. And then if I needed to go onto Twitter for something, I would still log into it. And it just made it more annoying than anything. What I've eventually learned is that the thing that actually helps me is taking my phone and putting it more than 2 or 3 feet away from me, making it to where I have to physically move my location in order to get it, and then keeping something else on me that can be entertaining. So like when you, because you and I have both done this before, where you get interested in something, and so you start researching it, and then you're suddenly 20 hours in the rabbit hole of like every possible thing you could have wanted to learn about that subject. So for me, I was in the hyperfixation of trying to figure out how social media negatively affects the brain. And one of those things is it can, we have some links for like dementia and some links for Alzheimer's and all. Mm-hmm. And it turns out what happens is as your brain engages in short form content, and engages is the wrong word because it doesn't, and that's the problem. Yeah. Your brain is not engaged. It is entertained, but not engaged. Like any other muscle, it starts to atrophy.
Because there's on both sides of my family, there is Alzheimer's and dementia. Mm-hmm. So I am very much aware that there is likely a time in my future where I will not be mentally present, but I will be physically healthy. So I've seen these same studies, and as a result, I actively avoid short form content now. Now I'm not sure the way I do things is any better, because like if I'm watching long form content, I also have to have something else that I'm doing at the same time.
But see, at that point,
like that's my ADHD brain, where it's like I'll watch your hour-long video, but I'm going to play a video game while I'm watching it.
But see, that's the opposite of the short form content. The short form content, your brain is not engaged. It is not learning. It is not flexing itself as a muscle. When you overload yourself with information and a cognitive task, that's the biggest thing, is there needs to be a cognitive task. Your brain has to be doing some type of load bearing. So if you're playing a video game, you are engaging in an exercise, you are doing a cognitive task, and if you are processing the story of a movie or a video, then that's not having a negative effect on your brain. That second screening doesn't have the same effect as, mindlessly scrolling through content does. It's also not as addictive.
So that's the thing. I despise content that is made with second screening in mind. Like the Netflix shows that hold your hand through every plot point and repeat it over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. I fucking hate that shit. Like, because when I am watching TV, it's either I'm watching something bad that I'm going to laugh at, and that's what I watch while I'm folding laundry, or I'm watching something that I want to pay attention to. And so if I'm paying attention, the fact that you're holding my hand through all these plot points is condescending, and I hate it.
Yeah.
But I understand why companies are doing it. I just fucking hate it.
I mean, I do too. But there is a type of second screen content that I do not mind, and that is video podcasts. I don't mind that. I don't mind video essays. Most video essays are designed as second screen content.
No, but I'm talking specifically about like plot-driven TV shows.
Oh, where they feel the need to tell you for the fifth time.
Like the Netflix Avatar, where you never see Aang ever having fun, but he tells you a million times, I'm just a kid who likes to have fun.
Yeah, that's called doing it poorly.
Yeah.
You know how you do second screening really well? You go ask H Bomber Guy, because his video essays.
Okay, but that's a different kind of content. Like that's educational content.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like TV shows with a plot. I'm not talking about video essays. Are you saying
that Harris Bomber Guy videos do not have plot?
Well, they often do.
I watched that man get chased through the forest by an axe murderer.
The best part about that is I don't understand what's going on there, but I think that might be the point.
I'm trying to
because
remember
that's in the Control-Alt-Delete one, right?
I think it was the Control-Alt-Delete one, yes. And I think the point of that one was Control-Alt-Delete has pointless violence in it.
Yes. And so there is no point.
And so
there is no point.
That's
what I think the point was, but I'm not sure.
I always assumed that was the point to it. Dr. Blue says, "Are we still watching the 80s time travel video?" I think we do need to continue the 80s time travel video.
We should probably finish this video.
Man, that's messed up.
Just wait till the DeLorean.
I'm hearing so many phone notifications.
Yeah, no, that's you shouldn't be hearing them. It's not connected to my thing anymore. Yeah, like it might be picking up in my microphone. My system sounds are because my phone's connected to the computer, even though I'd never use that. I don't know. When it gets to the DeLorean, look at the wrench.
Okay.
Dude, it's 1985 and the release of the film DHG Goonies. Forget 2020.
Wait, DHE Goonies?
DHE Goonies.
Why did you cry about a guy saying THE Goonies? Well, no, it's DHE, he said. DHE?
Navi, yes, that is when my partner messages me, my notification sound for her is Navi going, "Hey!"
Is it because she's very informative but annoying? Because that is what Navi is.
Well, it's because that
I hope she's listening right now.
Well, the thing she's messaging me about is that she couldn't find my stream because we're not on YouTube. But so she might be listening. But no, it's more that so both of us play video games the same way, where we find the one video game that sticks with us. But we have very different tastes in video games for the most part. But she does love Ocarina of Time, and I also love Ocarina of Time. So we kind of bonded over Ocarina of Time, and it's like, okay, well, Navi is your notification sound for me now. But Yeah, DHE Goonies.
25 and come here. We want you here.
Yeah, we want you here. We got your ticket, man. It'll be awesome if you could come back.
Okay, so they're lining up facing the wrong way, but also like
So-
The Goonies was not a movie for teenagers.
He said the Goonies, the one where they went and found the dead body?
No, that's Stand By Me. Okay, I'm the only one who watched Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series in this entire fucking chat. Anyways,
You sent me the link once,
I'm sure I did.
and I clicked on it in good faith meaning to watch it later, but never got around to it.
The one thing about this that is hitting me, that music. So that music that's in the background, I forget.
Oh, the music is not consistent. It changes tone several times throughout.
Well, no, so that the music that's in the background right now, this one, I believe it's called Aquatic Ambience. I actually think I know this exact track.
Okay. I just assumed they got AI to do the music as well.
No, play it again. I want to hear it.
Dude, go back.
Oh, look at the wrench. What? Keep your eye on the... I mean, first of all, he's just, like, screwing into a closed hood. It's like, what the fuck? But, like, just watch what happens to the wrench as he puts it down.
Back to 1985.
Like, what the fuck was that?
It was AI not understanding
AI
DHE
nonsense.
Goonies.
Yeah.
I know 2025 is bad.
Okay, no, it's not Aquatic Ambience. It's not Aquatic Ambience. It's
Okay.
But I know the track because I've heard it before.
Okay.
If I finish here, I'll come get you. Man, come to 1985. I miss you. I heard that 2025 is very complicated. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, 2025 is very complicated.
Unlike the 80s, which
Unlike the 80s, when, like, I don't know, the tech back then was just, like, okay. Did you see the Technology Connections video that dropped today?
no, I did not
Well, I'm a
Because-
nerd, so I did.
because I'm boycotting YouTube today.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, I'm also boycotting you too.
So you didn't watch it.
Anyway, so it's about various... I'm bad at boycotts, okay?
I fucked up too this morning.
Yeah. So he's it's about VHS-C tapes. Yeah, the VHS-C one. So as I was watching that video, he talks about all these different tape formats for like camcorders and stuff. And so like there were big ass camcorders you could get that you just stick a full blown VHS cassette tape in and you record from there. Fine, whatever. Then VHS-C was invented, even like it somehow came out before the camcorders that took it, but it's like a miniature VHS tape. And you can put that VHS tape into a VHS adapter, so you could just stick it into a VCR and play your home movies without having to convert them first. And then there was Video 8 was like an 8mm tape that was more like it was more efficiently compressed or something, so like you could fit a lot more onto the same length of tape. And so it was technically the better format, but it lost the format wars because everybody already had a VCR, and the 8mm tape, like there was no easy way to play it. What you'd have to either hook your camcorder into the TV and use your camcorder as a VCR, or you'd have to record it from the camcorder onto a VHS tape, in which case you get signal degradation and loss or whatever because it's a second copy or whatever.
And it would
But,
be
like,
horrible to watch DHE Goonies that way.
Yeah. But what struck me as I was watching through that video is that, like, my mother had all of these technologies at one point or another in my lifetime. We would borrow the giant VHS tape recorder from the library. They had one. Like, this was back when they were like $1,000, and this is like early 1990s money, $1,000. So this is like 6,000 or 7,000 in today's money. But you could just borrow it from the library. Libraries are great. You could borrow a lot of technology stuff from them even today. So like support your local libraries. But like, so she would record directly onto VHS tapes. She also had VHS, like she was an early adopter of VHS-C. But despite the fact that you could get an adapter where you could play your VHS-C tape directly in the VCR, she would always do the thing where she still plugged it into she plugged the auxiliary cables into the VCR and then recorded it onto a VHS tape. So she'd still get the degradation in quality because she didn't even notice. But she also had Video 8 at some point and did the same thing with those. But like, that's way more complicated than just record a video on your phone and then you want to show it to someone, you just press play on your phone, or you can cast it to the TV. so much more complicated to record it on your camcorder and then have to plug your camcorder into the VCR and put a blank tape in and hit record and hit play on this thing at the same time and like let the whole thing play out in real time as you're recording it and then take that tape over to your friend's house to show it to them.
When instead you could just use your phone to pirate DHE Goonies.
You could. Got to see the truffle shuffle. But yeah, that was my main point there, is that the technology was not actually simpler.
We actually had to have like 15 different things to do what our phones just do today.
And as far as like the like, they say it was a simpler time. Like even like technology is like one aspect of that. I can see how you can think of it as a simpler time in other ways, but like it's not simpler for those who are in marginalized communities.
It's also not
gay people went through a lot of tough shit in the 1980s. They were blamed for AIDS.
It's also always a simpler time when you're a kid. Like when we look back at these times, and I know that I was playing defense for a lot of this before, and I'm willing to still do so for certain things, but I will say this: generally speaking, when people are playing defense for stuff like this, they're not playing defense because the world was better back then. It's because their perception of the world was better back then. But most of that was because they were children and therefore did not know any better.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Because, I remember being a kid in the 90s and things were fairly simple. But, like, the 1980s still had the Cold War.
It did. It also had the beginnings of the war on drugs.
Yeah. The AIDS crisis.
I have to use the restroom real quick. I will be right back.
Okay, I guess I can't. Oh, the cassette adapter for the car for your Discman? Yeah, I had one of those. Your Discman had to have anti-skip, though, because otherwise when you hit a bump in the road, it's just nasty. I still remember when I found out that the first car that I had that had a CD player in it had... it was an aftermarket CD player. It wasn't the original thing, because the original thing wouldn't have been able to do this, but the aftermarket thing had MP3 capabilities. So I could burn like 100 songs onto a CD and play all of those 100 songs because it was an MP3 player as well. Suris, get a prostate exam. So I am of an age where that like yearly colonoscopies are in my future. So that's fun. I'm going to have to go get a camera shoved up my ass. Suris has IBS! Whoops, cap lock. Yeah, we had an 8-track player and a Pinto. Yeah, no, I'm not quite 8-track player old. They weren't unheard of while I was growing up, but they were not the norm. But we had tape decks in our cars. If you wanted a CD player, it had to be aftermarket for a while. Do you want Stoff to know you'll have a camera up your ass? Stoff can do me no harm at this point. And you know what? Honestly, this is something that I've wondered is maybe a quirk of my particular sexuality, where, like, if you're unaware, I am straight-leaning pansexual. So, like, I'm only really attracted to the stereotypical feminine form. But, like, I don't... Like, I'll suck a dick, but not because I'm attracted to dicks, just because, like, yeah, why not? I don't understand, like, the idea of somebody sending a nude and being like, oh, gross, that's nasty, I didn't want to see that. It's like, no, it's just a body, man. So, like, and I often wonder whether or not that plays into, like, do we want Stoff to know that I'll have a camera up my ass? Stoff can draw the most shocking thing Stoff can imagine, and I will look at it and be like, they put, like, Stoff is a very skilled artist. So I can look at the stuff like that and be like, yeah, it's supposed to be shocking content, but, like, I'm not shocked by the content. I'm just appreciating the art for what it is. And I know that, like, kind of goes against the meme of, like, oh no, Stoff is drawing me naked again. But, like, it doesn't bother me at all. So the problem is unsolicited pics from pervy men expecting and demanding reciprocation. Yeah, no, I get that that's an issue. But at the same time, like, I have known straight men that if they see a penis, they freak the fuck out about it. I'm just like, dude, it's just a penis. It's just a penis. Relax. The term is sexually apathetic. So I forget what term that I came up with to describe it, but it involved the word apathy. And then when I Googled it, it turned out that the Aces had already claimed that one. because there's like 5 million different flavors of ace. There's so many ways to be asexual. There are more asexual sexualities than there are sexual sexualities. And I kind of love it. Yeah, it's just like I don't know if that's a quirk of my sexuality where like it just doesn't bother me. Like nothing like that bothers me. Like you can surprise me with a naked body, and even if it's one that I'm not particularly attracted to, it's just a body. So yeah, no, I don't know if that's the thing, but like, yeah, no, Staff, you can draw me however you like, and you will not shock me. There are straight men who think that touching their own member is gay, which is so strange. Yeah, I don't know about that because everybody masturbates, but I know there are straight men who do not wash their asses because they feel like that's gay, and I don't understand that in the slightest. It does not feel sexually nice to me to wash the ass. It just feels nice to be clean. Like that's not a sexual thing. That is just, I want to be clean. So I don't understand that. Meanwhile, I'm in love with my bidet. Yeah, absolutely. There was a shocking dearth of bidets in Europe. I was very surprised at how few bidets there were. And the one bidet that there was in Italy. And I couldn't actually figure it out. It was a separate unit from the toilet. It wasn't one that was attached to it, but it was one where I think what you were supposed to do is actually like fill it up, like, because it had like a little plug in the bottom, and it was like a faucet that like hung down from the top, so like you couldn't shoot it directly at your ass. So I think you were supposed to like fill it up with water, and there was like a bar of soap on a thing on a little tray beside it, and it was nowhere near the actual sink, so like that was not supposed to be hand soap. I think you were supposed to like fill it up, dunk your ass in it, and wash your ass out there, but then like that just seems like a colossal waste of water to fill this like gigantic bowl thing up and then dunk your ass in it. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to use it, but that's the only way I could think of to use it. So I'm just like, I just took a shower afterwards. Like I would poop and then shower because I couldn't figure out the bidet. Communal ass soap. Welcome back, Suris. Okay. You chose a great time to come back.
I exist here again. I am sorry.
Communal ass soap is what you are arriving to.
I'm gonna leave again.
Oh, we were talking about bidets. I forget how we got to bidets, but it started with my sexuality, so...
I'm happy that all of our conversations about bidets finally led to me buying a fucking bidet.
Oh, how do you like it?
So... It is fan-fucking-tastic, and it actively makes using toilets that don't have one harder.
Yes. 100%.
That has been my experience.
Yeah, so the entire time I was in Europe, I fucking hated it because I was expecting... Europe is supposed to be this enlightened place that has bidets everywhere. Only one of the hotels we stayed in had a bidet, and it was... I couldn't figure out how to use it because it wasn't the squirt up your ass kind. It was like... It was like a tall faucet pointing down... And I think what you were supposed to do, because there was like a basin there that had a plug at the bottom. So what I think you were supposed to do is fill that up. And then they had like a little tray with soap in it beside it. And this was like far away from the sink. So it's not the hand soap. This is where communal ass soap came in. So I think you were supposed to like fill it up with water and wash your ass out in there. But then I'm like, it's so much easier just to shower.
Yeah.
Like, so I would just poop and then shower instead of trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I have had... zero problems with mine. Then again, I've actually had it for like 3 months, and it has actively made pooping more fun.
Yes, it's so much better. It's so nice to be clean afterward. You never realize how dirty you are afterwards until you experience being clean afterwards. Mm-hmm. Uber Cubs just got an ad for diapers, so good timing, I guess. Okay.
The other thing I'd say is I'm happy that this stream has also forced me to buy an EV.
EVs are great.
Let's ignore that my power bill was $1,242.
Yeah, but how much did you pay in gas?
I didn't pay anything in gas.
Exactly. Anyway, keeping on with the video.
Grandson, go back to 1985. Your gift has been under this tree for 40 years. Come here to get it.
It's been under the tree for 40 years.
Hey, you there in 2025, come to 1987.
I'm sorry, the world is like this in 2025.
Hey, you there in 2020 Station 5? Forget the PlayStation 5 and come play arcade with us. We miss you here.
Are they really trying to say that video games were better in the 80s?
They weren't. They
were not.
No. Now, granted, if you wanted to play the good video games in the 80s, you did go to the arcade. But
yeah, like there were some good video games that came out of the 80s. But, like, no, video games were not good in the 80s.
hold on. That was NES era. I will say, Final Fantasy, Mario Brothers, Ninja Gaiden,
all of which can be
stuff.
played today for free as long as you don't tell Nintendo that you're emulating.
Right. But if we're talking about like good games that came out then, like those are good games that came out then.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that all the games were bad, just most of them.
It's sad to know the world got bad in 2025. We miss you.
And they made it with CapCut, of course. Yeah, no, so the 80s were good, and that video made this person cry, apparently.
I don't think that they should be crying about. It's a very dumb thing
agree.
to cry about.
It was not a very inspiring video.
I mean, it inspired a lot of conversations with us, but that's because we both fixate on the dumb shit.
Yeah, and we talked about literal shit, too, so there you go.
I mean, yeah, when I came back from Bidet Town. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full time without the support from each and every one of you. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie Chan, Kiri Artemis, Limor Pinku, Love Bunny Games, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Aurora, Leela Ururaka, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it. Just a little bit.